Okay, Croc. It's a game about a croc. His name is Croc, and the title's called Croc, and it's on the PS1. If this is going to be the extent of my humor, I might as well just take a fucking nap. This is the game as a hidden gem amongst my PS1 archives. Can't really say much from my PS1 archive, but I gotta say, it's kind of shit. It was published by Fox Entertainment, yeah, and developed by Argonaut Games. The programmers responsible for games such as Aliens for the SNES, Star Fox, some Harry Potter games for the PS1, iNinja, and the Catwoman video game. Yeah. With Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot taking the market by storm, it was pretty clear that 3D platformers were the new voice of the generation. And for the most part, yeah, it kinda worked. But there was a lot of crap between the games that were really good and the games that were really Jersey Shore. Croc the Legend of Gobo is pretty much one of those. It was a good, well-rounded third-party game that actually tried to be its own thing, even though it kind of collapsed under its own weight. You'll know what I'm talking about pretty soon. So let's just pop this bad boy in. Well, would you listen to that? Okay, enough of that. So the story, as crazy as it is, goes like this. Valley Island place of the Gobos. These are the Gobos, by the way. A baby Croc is found by the Gobo King. By the way, that's the Gobo King. And he decides to raise you as his own son, I think. He and the other Gobos train you in the ways of, whatever the hell they do. Until you grow up into the handsome young man that you are today. But then suddenly, the conflict enters the game. So Emperor Dante, by the way, that's Emperor Dante, comes into the valley and starts running amok. The Gobo King, sensing danger, sends Croc away before he is inevitably captured. So this is the basic premise of the game. You have to go around all these levels, saving all these little Gobos, defeat Dante and his minions, and save the Gobo King so you can restore order to the land. Alright, everything looks well rendered here and everything for a PS1 game, and everything is nicely conveyed pretty well, and all the platforms do a good job of being relevant platforms, even though some of them are inexplicably floating in a void. But then again, this world is kind of wacky like that, so I guess you can buy it. But that's enough of the pretension. What about the actual game? Well, I'm sad to say that in the first 30 seconds of playing this game, I already found some problems. First of all, it's bunkered down by the controls. And this is kind of the general problem with all PS1 games. The controls don't actually feel fluid and like you're actually controlling anything. See, many developers are kind of overcompensating for the fact that the D-pad doesn't have much of a 3D control aspect, so they just fall back on tank controls. And that's the problem with the controls. The tank controls don't really help it. It looks like I'm supposed to have some freedom of what direction I exactly want to go, but with the tank controls, everything just feels kind of awkward. Also, the camera constantly points at your back. Always. You can't control it. And the enemies. Well, it's best that I just show you. 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds, and the enemy instantly respond. With the controls like these, I really need the time to observe my surroundings and get a good angle at everything. And that's another thing that's wrong. The game environments and the combat kind of imply haste on your part, so that you don't waste too much time, but again, the controls don't really help you with that, since you constantly have to be readjusting your alignment because, well, let's be honest, these jumps are just a leap of faith. There was not a single platform jump in this game that I was 100% confident in, but that problem lies with the camera not moving when you jump. If I actually had control over it, I could actually take a bottom look downwards and actually see what type of jump I'm actually risking. The success of these skills are left to not my skills as a seasoned player, but in the hands of Jubileus. And get used to cheap deaths, people. It's gonna be a lot in this. The life system works the same way as Sonic system. You have these gems. If you collect 100 of these, you get a life. If you die, you lose all your gems and start at the beginning of the area that you entered. When you're hit by an enemy, the gems fall out of you, protecting your one life. And once you're hit by an enemy and you have no gems, you lose a life and you have to start from the beginning of the area. Getting hit by an enemy also applies to falling into lava pits. Now, in most games, when you fall into lava, you have a couple of seconds of invulnerability to get back on the platform before you actually lose another life. If you fall into lava, you have less than half a second to get back on that platform before you die. And that wouldn't be a big problem. Well, actually, that would be a big problem, because it is a big problem. But the thing that's making it even less bearable is the fact that lives are scarce. More often than not, you're just going to end each level with getting nothing. Not enough to actually warrant another one-up. Maybe if there were a few more secret areas. First, it looked like a gym was just glitching, but apparently this was a bonus level where I can get a whole bunch more one-ups. And I have to rely on my so-genius platforming to get them. Oh no! So yeah, those are kind of my beefs with this game, but what are the good aspects? Well, like I said, the environments are nicely designed, and it has a nice whimsical charm to it, but I honestly don't know why when you go into a cave, it changes into Halloween music. There are also these 5 crystals hidden on each level. At the end there's a secret door, and if you have all the gems, you can open the door. It'll lead you to another area where you can get some more bonuses and gems and one-ups and not. Sometimes it's a little mini-game, sometimes it's just something fun. But sometimes it ain't worth it. And oh yeah, the boss fights. Twice throughout each world, Dante takes one wildlife creature, turns them into an evil thing. Like turning ladybugs into boxers, turning lambs into yetis, turning kiwis into...
Now that is a big boner.
But sometimes the ideas for making a boss out of some of these guys are just ridiculous. I guess everyone's murderous intentions are just unleashed when you give them a jetpack.
Hey, don't drink so much!
The boss levels are kind of disappointing, because they all follow the same repetitive formula. Dodge the boss's attacks, wait till he's open, and then hit him in the butt. The music in the game is pretty good though, although the entire soundtrack is a bit repetitive. And I don't know who's the jackass in development who thought the music shouldn't loop. All in all, I give Croc the Legend of Gobo 3.5 stars. It's not a bad game, but it's not really that great. The controls are really sloppy with both analog and D-pad. The camera controls like ass. The gameplay is a bit repetitive, and leaves much to be desired. and the music doesn't loop. However, it's not bad music. I like how each stage has its own variation of the same tune. Not really a fantastic tune, but it's a good tune to listen to. So yeah, that's definitely a plus for the soundtrack, and the environments are nice, and they have a good setup for a sense of adventure. So basically, am I saying play this game for the atmosphere? Yeah, definitely. Game has amazing atmosphere. It looks nice, sounds nice. Does it play nice? No. It plays horribly. But I'll give it props for at least trying. But does this sequel get an excuse? Oh, we'll see about that. We will see.